Good evening from New York. In both the small and big picture, it represents the breakdown of government, a knowing, hands-off, recklessly minimalist approach, an a la carte system that openly invites specific destruction in the short term and the deconstruction of basic governmental services in the long term. In our fifth story, the home that was allowed to burn to the ground over a $75 fee not paid, now drawing the cheers of some conservatives eager to defend the policy and blame the victims. With local county authorities evidently unmoved by this, the home of Jean and Paulette Cranick burning as firefighters watched because the Cranicks had failed to pay their $75 subscription fee. But last night, the Obion County Budget Committee of Tennessee chose to expand the subscription-only fire service, pay to spray. The decision was 2 years in the making and will not go into effect immediately, but also not changed by recent events. Meantime, the prince of Too Bad for You, as well as other conservatives, happily defending the system and explaining how that system worked exactly as intended.
If you don't pay your $75, then that hurts the fire department. They can't use those resources, and you would be sponging off of your neighbor's $75 if they put out your neighbor's house and you didn't pay for it. I mean, if your neighbor didn't pay for it, you did, and they put out their house, your neighbor is sponging off of your $75.
And as soon as they put out the fire of somebody who didn't pay the $75, no one will pay the $75.
Why would you?
Which, if true, is why government services should never be constructed to put people in these situations in the first place. Not the homeowner, nor the firefighter. But back to the "they got what they deserved" chorus. The National Review's online blog and Daniel Foster quoting, "I have no problem with this kind of opt-in government in principle, but forget the politics. What moral theory allows these firefighters, admittedly acting under orders, to watch this house burn to the ground? Good for you." And that was the compassionate entry. "Dan, you are 100% wrong," responded Kevin Williamson. "The world is full of jerks, freeloaders, and ingrates, and the problems they create for themselves are their own." The National Review's Jonah Goldberg sadly noting how well the system works, quoting, "Here's the more important part of the story. Letting the house burn, while I admit sad, will probably save more houses over the long haul. I know that if I opted out of the program before, I would be more likely to opt in now." No, that is not the important part of the story. Indeed, when a fire chief within Obion County was asked about the County Budget Committee's decision to expand pay to spray, he was at first diplomatic and then frank.
I think it'll be really effective. It's not the best solution. Without a doubt, the best option is a true fire tax. It eliminates this having 911 or whoever to check to say, are they covered or not covered? And the last thing a firefighter wants to do is not be able to help when they'd like to.
And what about the fire department's proposal, the one that, in trying to achieve a local government solution, tells the larger story about what government should be doing to protect its citizens? The Obion County Fire Department's 37-page presentation to establish countywide fire protection. The very proposal considered by those budgetary functionary authorities before they decided to expand pay to spray. Page 5 of the fire department proposal, purpose: to formally establish a countywide fire department which will provide quality fire protection and emergency response to all areas of Obion County in a timely manner with no subscription fees or requirements for response. Page 4, overview: no other emergency agency responds solely on a subscription basis, ability to pay basis, or under the threat of not responding if you don't pay your bill. Page 6, explanation: it is becoming more difficult to convince municipal leaders that the municipal fire departments responding to calls outside the municipal boundaries and for which no compensation is guaranteed is just the right thing to do. The fire department presented 5 different funding solutions, including one which would increase property taxes slightly for all residents, or one that would increase the monthly electric bills by $3. Also presented a countywide subscription fee of $116 per household for those rural homeowners living outside the municipalities. Join me now once more from outside where his home was, Gene Cranick. And Mr. Cranick, we thank you again for your time tonight. I know it's hard to believe that people could be that cold, but they are. How do you respond to those people who are saying today that you got what you deserved somehow?
Well, I respond to those people like this. Wait till the shoe's on the other foot, on their foot, and see what happens. It happens to anybody. I don't care. You forget things. And I did. I'll suffer the consequences for it. So I'm not a freeloader. I worked all my life for everything I got. And so, and another thing about it, they have waived these fire fees before.
Mm-hmm.
They waived them up here at my son's house, and 3 years ago in December, they waived them at over on another road over here in out of town, and saved the guy's house. But I know they've waived them before, so therefore they could have waived mine, and I would have paid it. My neighbor offered to pay them. I don't know if it was $500 or $5,000 to spray the house down and put it out. But no, they sprayed the fence row.
My understanding is that you've heard about some of the coverage on some of the other cable networks today about this, people who said that it doesn't matter, that rule has to be enforced. What do you think about that point of view, the coverage on Fox News, for instance?
Well, I'll say to those people that they don't know the whole story about everything, and they shouldn't be judging people when they don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. The idea that that this has to, if they had somehow gone in and put out the fire without you having paid, that would hurt the system, that would punish all the people that did pay. Does that make any sense to you?
No, it don't, because I would have paid. Yeah. I offered to pay. I told them I'd pay whatever it took.
From what we're gathering from looking into this today, it looks like the firefighters do not like this system. The politicians apparently like this system. How do you respond to that disagreement between those two parties?
Well, I don't know, but I did understand that the man was calling the shots on this fire and told them not to put no water on it.
Yeah.
Was there within a half a mile of playing golf. He was playing golf right down here on the golf course within a half a mile. That really tells you that they really care. No wonder we can't get any industry and anything in this little old town around. So why should I want to put up a business or build a new home around when they're not going to do that? They're not going to do you, treat you right. Another thing is, and I don't know whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. I hadn't researched it yet. But part of my tax dollars comes back to this town, I think, for fire trucks. And the first one thing that goes in the general fund, they don't just use it for fire trucks or the police department or whatever. And I know for a fact that they take their prisoners. When they take the prisoners, they built this new thing up here, about $3.5 million. And I understood they're supposed to have a jail in it. But they don't. They take all their prisoners over to the county, over at Union City, to the county. So what do they even need all that up there for? They're not going to use it.
That they could afford, but your $75 they could not afford. Let me ask you this. Let me just see if there's something a little nicer to this story than we've told everybody about, and I know you're living in it, and none of it's nice for you, but what's the reaction of your neighbors to this? I mean, you mentioned your neighbor was willing to pay on the spot as you were as this fire was going on. Has it generally been compassionate and neighborly?
Most everybody has been compassionate and neighborly, and I talked to a guy from the city today. He lives up in the city. And he said he hated it. Mm-hmm. But that was their rule up there. But he hated it that it happened. And the way it happened and everything. He hated it. I understood some of the firefighters went home and was sick.
Yep.
Some of them even cried over it. I appreciate it.
Well, let me ask you one more, and then we'll let you go again with our thanks. What's next for you and the family?
Right now, I don't know. We haven't talked. We've got to wait till our insurance company comes around and says it's all right to clean up and everything, and then we'll clean up and we'll go from there. Will we bill back now or later? We'll just have to make a decision later on this.
All right.
So we may not bill back, and then again we may bill something. I don't have any idea.
All right. Well, we'll be in touch with you if we have your permission to do so. And again, in the interim,
yes.
Thanks for your time and our continued best wishes in this terrible situation.
All right.
Gene Kranick, thank you.
Thank you.